Yeah, I'm excited. Today's gonna be a good one.
$105,000 at 17 years old.
The ability to do hard shit, go through pain, and allow it to build you up as a man.
You didn't have a massive trauma, yet you chose the path of pressure, pain, and growth. Why do you think that is?
And those are just about the two stupidest, craziest things I could possibly have done. Fucking jump off a roof and like kill myself. Like, when does it end? None of them are doing 150, 200K a month profit.
You mastered sales. You got to the point.
I get to learn new skill sets a lot faster if I want to. I have access to the best people and I get results a lot quicker. It's like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. You're screwed. Me, dude, shut down my fucking business. Take away all 6 payment processors.
How did it feel? Like that first message you got in the Wins channel?
I started to think about my strategy. I already accomplished that goal. I already feel superior. Of like, oh, I want to be this great guy. And I want to change society and everything else.
$105,000 at 17 years old, 22,000 followers on Instagram, building one of the biggest sales communities on the planet, worked with the biggest games in sales, and all of that is Andres Contreras Garcias. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure to have you. So let's get right into the juicy stuff. You weren't born in poverty. You didn't have a massive trauma, yet you chose the path of pressure, pain, and growth. Why do you think that is?
I think if you really sit down and think, I think that's what's missing from the world today. Like, if you look back in the days, men had it so much harder. And I think that was a good thing, because when men had it harder in society, that's how they built themselves up. That's how they actually became men. They led families, civilization boomed. There wasn't all this crazy weird shit, all this LGBTQ and all this other stuff. None of that existed, because men were actually having to do the hard things over and over and over again. If you took one of these, like, okay, and this is a random example. If you took one of these, like, gay dudes who are like all feminine and all flirty or whatever, and you stuck in a fucking coal mine 100 years ago,
game over.
What do you think? Fucking KO. It's the same shit. So I think what's lacking from society as a whole has been that hard choices. The ability to do hard shit, go through pain, and allow it to build you up as a man. And as soon as I kind of realized that, it was like, well, then the only way out, because I wasn't happy at that point in my life, the only way out, the only way to get to that next version of me and like actually become who I think I can become is to go through that shit on purpose and make it for myself.
Yeah.
And so that's when I started thinking, like, okay, what steps have to be taken in order for me to actually become my own man and become independent? And then that's when I decided to run away from home and do all these other things, is because I knew I had to do that to become independent, to become a man, go through hard things, build myself up, and ultimately become successful. And then eventually be able to pass it to my children.
But building off on that, what was like that? Where was that moment? Was that at the party, or was it like later on when you realized that you had to make that hard decision?
It was the one of running away from home specifically.
Like, just, changing your lifestyle and changing everything completely. You did a 180, because drinking on the weekends, drugs, partying with the boys, to building $36,000 at 16.
I realized it's like a ladder. If you really think about it, it's like a ladder. What is an addiction? An addiction is something where you're addicted to a substance, and then every single time you have to take more and more and more of that substance to meet the same level of excitement or craving or whatever you want to call it. That's an addiction. When you're going to parties, it makes you feel happy in the moment because you're doing some crazy thing. You get adrenaline, you get dopamine. And then every time you go back, you have to do something more and more and more and more stupid to meet that same. And that's most of high school. So for me, it was the exact same thing. I felt like, okay, and I'll go straight into this in a second, but like, I felt inferior compared to the people I was around. I felt like I didn't fit in. And the reason I felt inferior is because I think in human psychology, whenever you don't fit into a group, you assume it's because you're worse than them. When most of the time, it's because you're better than them. The smart kid is always the one who gets bullied. The kid who's actually trying to achieve something, never goes out, never does anything with the boys, he's the one who always gets bullied. The smart people, the more successful people, are typically the ones who don't fit in and who get made fun of because of it.
Yeah.
So this is also one thing to consider. Like, if you're watching this podcast right now and you're somebody who feels like you don't fit into society, into your school, whatever it might be, your ecosystem, don't assume it's because you're worse. It's probably because you're better. And you just need to figure out, what are you actually better at?
Yeah.
So that was the first realization for me. It was me feeling inferior, feeling like I don't fit in here. I'm not a part of this. And so my way of trying to become superior, or like do more, be better, was, as stupid as it sounds, going to more parties, doing more stupid shit. So I ended up hosting a party where it was like 300 people in my home when my parents weren't there one day, right? Everything went to shit. Cops got called, like everything, right? It was not good. And then a couple weeks later, that's when the tattoo thing happened. And so that story is I was going to a party and it was like, what stupid thing can I do today? What can I do? And I decided to end up cracking open a pen, like literally each one of these pens, crack them open, get a sewing needle, dip it inside, and then give myself a tattoo on my leg with it. And ended up getting infected that same night. It's still there to this day. It's permanent tattoo. I actually think it's kind of cool. It's like a battle scar of stupidity, doing stupid shit. But like it's still there to this day. And those are just about the two stupidest, craziest things I could possibly have done in that moment. Tattooing myself randomly at a random ass party, where I still have it today, and then hosting a party with over 300 people where cops are called, shit's getting broken everywhere in the house and everything, and I have to spend 2.5 days cleaning. That was about the stupidest thing I could do.
Yeah.
And so that still didn't allow me to be at the peak of the social hierarchy and be this super happy person, this amazing personality. If that still didn't do it, then I knew there was nothing in that life that could do it for me. There just wasn't.
I see.
Because I realized it's like an addiction, the exact same thing. I started just going to a couple parties and I started drinking and then doing some drugs, then hosting a party, and then giving myself a tattoo. When does it end? Fucking jump off a roof and like kill myself? Like, when does it end?
Yeah.
There's no like next level that actually provides contentment. And I think the sooner you realize that, the sooner you figure out how much time most people are wasting, and the fact that most people in our civilization, in society, at our age, especially at my age, waste 3/4 of a year.
Sure.
That's everything you need to know. Because again, going back to what we were saying earlier, if they were a real man and they wanted to work hard and go through hard shit and make something of themselves and become successful, would they be going to all these parties, doing all these things? No. So then what does that tell you? If working hard and going through pain and committing to stuff is what makes you successful, and they're not doing the things that make you successful, then what does that make them? Unsuccessful.
Yeah.
And what do you call somebody in a game who loses? A loser.
Loser, yeah.
That's the majority of our society now.
Yeah. So, but correct me if I'm wrong, but really what it all came down to was you just wanted to be the best. You just want to be the top, right? That was the only reason that pushed you into it. Because if you were fine with being like the clown, all of that, you would have stick to those life. But you just wanted to be the top. You want to be everybody to be worse than you, pretty much.
Yeah, I wanted to feel superior, and that came from feeling inferior.
Yeah. So when did you kind of realize that like you always wanted to be like this superior? You know, when was that realization?
It was a constant thing.
Yeah.
Because I always felt inferior because, again, I didn't feel like I fit in. And naturally, in human psychology, what you don't have is what you want. It's what you crave. So, like, for example, like if you grow up and your mother's never present and you never feel like you love her or she loves you, then you're going to seek a relationship with a lot of intimacy and all that and spending a lot of time with them because it fills that hole, fills the gap. Right? It's the exact same thing. You always go day-to-day life in high school and stuff feeling like a piece of shit, feeling inferior, not feeling like you're worth anything. Then your natural craving is going to be to want to be worth something.
Yeah.
Superior, to be better than, because you always feel worse than. And so it was a constant thing. I just never figured out what that vehicle was for me.
I see.
And so again, that's when I thought that vehicle was going to the parties and doing all this shit. Very quickly, I realized that is not it. Then it became, and then I went into business.
Yeah. And just give like a brief, how'd you get into it? You know, you hopped onto SMMA. How did you transition yourself from, you know, partying all of this to SMMA out of all other businesses?
It was actually seeing reels and stuff. Like there was no reason for SMMA specifically. Yeah. There was no reason. It was just the first thing I saw that was like, oh, this looks cool. I can do this. I can talk to people. Like, let's just do it. That was really the only reason. I was seeing reels that were like, as stupid as it sounds, the ones that are like, oh, like you and your bro on 20 years living in a yacht when you get rich, like those type of shits. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And then that's when SMMA was the first like business model that I found or I saw. And then I was like, okay, head first, let's go for it.
I think that's very interesting because I think a lot of people wouldn't give that commitment to the business model. They would see SMMA, they would try it for a day too, but you put in like you gave it all, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why you got successful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So while you were building the SMMA to 36K, you said that you were like on the mental edge with it, like it hit the fan at point. Why didn't you stop at that point? You grew it to 36K, it came tumbling down. Why didn't you stop?
I did stop. After it tumbled, after it destroyed, I stopped. And it wasn't a forfeit. It wasn't a quit. It was a strategic move. And I'll explain to you why. Most people our age, they think, oh, I'm going to go into business, make a lot of money, etc. That's not reality, and it's not smart. Because when you're trying to start a business as a 16-year-old kid without any experience or anything, you're having to learn 10 different skill sets at the same time. You're learning sales, you're learning marketing, operations, management, team building, outreach, like all these different things at the exact same time. So you're not going to master any of them. It's like jack of all trades, master of none. But instead of trying to learn all these 10 at the same time, because if you try to do that realistically, you're not going to be able to. That's just reality. You're a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Right. So instead, what I realized is like, not just this business failed, but why did it fail? Why? And I really thought about it. And it was like, because I didn't have the skill sets. And then it was like, well, one layer deeper. Why didn't I have the skill sets? Well, I didn't have the skill sets because I was trying to learn 10 of them at the same time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't viable. And so what I ended up settling on, now I spoke with a mentor about this and he gave me a different perspective. And it was like, what if you mastered one skill set and that became your business? And what he meant by that, if you look at me now, I chose sales. I mastered sales. I did sales 17, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week for months on end, right? Over and over and over again, repetitions until I was the best at it, right? Then after that, I started a business. Now, think about the structure of my business. How do I do my marketing? My marketing is recordings of me on sales calls.
Yeah.
Sales. How do I do my acquisition? After we get those leads from the recordings of the sales calls, I sell them. Sales. How do we do the client delivery for our team?
Sales.
I mean, for our clients. I go into the business and I make their sales better. Sales. So everything, the entire business is around one skill set. It's the exact same thing. Look at, Ravi Abuwala, right?
Yeah, of course.
I always give this example. Marketing. That was his thing.
Yeah.
So how does he acquire clients? He makes videos about marketing. How does he get clients after that? After the marketing? Well, his whole thing is like, you don't need sales calls to close clients.
Exactly.
If you have good marketing, you'll nurture them and you'll get sales. So how does he acquire clients and close them? Also marketing. What's his delivery? He helps businesses get better at marketing. The entire business is one skill set because that's a lot more viable.
Yeah.
For somebody our age, if you're trying to master one skill set and get extremely good at it, rather than 10 skill sets at the same time, it is common sense that you would get better at that one skill set at a much faster rate than anybody trying to get better at 10 at the same time. It is common sense. That's why a lot of the people who I was doing the agency with when it was at 36K a month are still doing the agency. Some of them are at 50K a month. Some are even at 70. None of them are doing 150, 200K a month profit 60 days after starting a new business.
Yeah. But don't you think that's also because how you acquired other skill sets? Because you mastered sales, you got to the point, but growing on content, that was a different skill set. How did you acquire?
Correct. How did I learn the content? I paid mentors.
Exactly.
For one-on-one time, $3,000 an hour, $5,000 an hour to learn content, to learn marketing. But why could I do that?
Because you already...
It's because I'd mastered that one skill set of sales. I got extremely, extremely good at it. I made a lot of money with it. And then I had the funds to be able to learn all these other things quickly. Yeah. Versus the other person who's trying to learn everything at the same time. They never make enough money to be able to go to a mentor and be like, can I pay you $5,000 an hour to learn from you one-on-one? Yeah. They never make enough money to be able to do that. So if I can pay those people, then instead, if you look at the progression chart, they're trying to learn everything at the same time. They're going to go like this. They're going to go like this. They're going to go like this. Me, I'm going to be like this. My growth curve is going to be way flatter because it's sales. But then I start making money. I launch the business, start making money. Now I can pay $5,000 an hour. And then I'm like this.
I would say
versus
it's more like this, and then you pay the mentor here because your baseline just increases after it. And then you just start doing reps.
yeah,
It got
that's
better.
another way of looking at it. Yeah, exactly. It's another way of looking at it. But fundamentally, if you just look at the timelines, I'm gonna win over
Yeah.
the other person. And not only I'm gonna win, I already have. So
Yeah.
like, but that's the idea.
Yeah.
Because then now I get to be in better networks because I paid much smarter individuals with a much higher net worth and network. So I get to be around better people. I get to have better skill sets. I get to learn new skill sets a lot faster if I want to. I have access to the best people and I get results a lot quicker. Somebody who started making content a year and a half ago with a content agency, that's when I started, a year and a half ago, started making content. Most of them still only have 2,000 followers, 1,000 followers. Me, I started content 60 days ago, 70 days ago. I already got 23,000 followers or 20,000, whatever it is. I don't even know the number. But it's because I was able to pay somebody extremely good at it for their time to learn the skill set quickly and then results. Same thing.
But don't you think like those agency owners that are still doing those 50K, don't you think the fact that's holding them back is the fact that instead of like they already like say they like at level 3 on all skills, they could go out and pay mentors. They're not doing that extra feature of paying other people.
But they don't have the money to do it. Bro,
Really?
if you break down the numbers of an agency, a 50K a month agency, I'm gonna be very clear, it usually means you're making $20,000 to $25,000 a month profit.
Really? I think
on the agency,
I think it varies. I try to peak.
There are some that are much higher margins. I'm just talking in general though.
Yeah.
In general, that's like the average I've seen because I know a lot of agency owners. And so like, even if you're making 30 grand a month, bro, can you really afford to pay somebody $5 grand an hour for coaching?
Not really.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Maybe you can, but then you're not going to be able to travel to Dubai to meet all those other people. Like, yeah, now you have to make choices. You got to pick, right?
Yeah.
You can't get a really nice place. You can't get a nice car. You have to choose between different things. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. They could theoretically, they could, but even let's analyze that for a second. Actually, interesting point. Let's analyze that. Let's say I'm an agency owner doing 50K a month. Let's say magically $45,000 a month of that is profit, right? So I have money to be able to travel. I have money to be able to get the nice car and pay mentors. So now I can pay $5 grand an hour for the same mentors that I'm paying. Let's pretend.
Yeah.
Now let's analyze it. You have me who says, I'm going to get great at content. I'm going to get great at marketing. And all 16 hours a day of my focus goes towards this one thing. And I become great at it. You have the other guy who pays the exact same mentor, but he's having to deal with a client fire over here. He's having to have a conversation with his employee over here. He's having to deal because Go High Level, for some reason, it went offline like 2 days ago or something. And everybody was figuring out. He's having to deal with that. He's having to deal with the Facebook ad stop performing. And now he has to get on that. He has to deal with the sales rep, gets all emotional for some reason because he doesn't close a bunch of deals. And now he has to have a pep talk with it. Now his focus is going this way, and this way. I think a lot of what focus comes down to isn't actually the amount of time you put towards something. It's the mental space you have, the mental capacity to be able to focus on one thing and focus on it fully. I think that's the most important thing. For me, I have ADHD, so maybe that just impacts me more. It probably does, but I can't have 5 focuses in a day. I won't get anything done. But the guy who's focusing on all 5 of these things, his attention's distracted. His time's distracted. His focus is distracted. Mine isn't. So who's going to learn that skill set faster between him and I?
You.
Still me. And if I learn the skill set faster and I'm mastering marketing now, and I already have sales mastered, now I master 2. What's the next one I'm going to go to? Now I'm going to master operations.
Yeah.
He's still trying to learn marketing over there. He's still trying to work that out. I already got that now. Now I'm on operations. Now eventually he finishes that and he moves into operations. But same thing, split focus, 10 different ways, 5 different ways. I'm mastering operations. And very quickly you'll realize my skill sets get mastered at a much faster rate than his.
Yeah.
And I think whenever people talk about like Hormozi's concepts of leverage, so it's like content, code, capital, and labor.
Yeah.
Right. I think the highest leverage, especially starting out, is your skills. Because if you don't have the skills, you can have everything else, but nothing's going to happen. That's why I see agency owners that hire a cold caller at like 1K a month or before they've even done revenue. And it's like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You're stopping yourself from developing that same skill set. And why? It's the exact same concept. People will tell me, I'll be like, why are you doing that? And they're like, oh, well, because like I only have to speak with them an hour a day. Like I'm still going to be able to cold call. I'm still going to be able to learn, but the split focus.
Yeah.
Now you have energy going to him, attention going to him,
Yeah.
focus going to him, which detracts from your ability to master your own. So again, two people, one of them doesn't hire that guy. The other guy does hire that guy. This guy doesn't have split focus. He's going to learn it much faster. He's going to accelerate at a much faster rate. After he's mastered it, now he hires a team. Now he can train that team like that. Now they're all performing. This other guy's still only decent. He's progressed, but he's only decent. And now he's having to hire guy, and he can't train any of them. So it's master.
But also the fact that, you know, if you're training someone, they're not going to be you. They're going to be like 10% down.
Always below you. Exactly.
So you want to be the best when you're hiring.
Exactly. But that's my fundamental belief. I think starting a business as a kid is stupid. And that comes from somebody who has started the business and has had more success than most agency owners online.
Yeah.
And I still think it's a smart move. I still think learning a skill set is what makes you proof.
Yeah.
It gets you proofed from society.
Yeah.
Because with an agency, even like if Facebook makes some kind of change, let's say Facebook makes a change, you're screwed. Your IG algorithm changes. The outreach messages all of a sudden only go to the request box. You're screwed. Me, dude, shut down my fucking business. Take away all 6 payment processors. Put me onto an offer and I'll make 50 grand a month.
Exactly.
Who cares? Like, I'm good. A skill set is what proofs you. So I think start a business after you learn the skill set and you'll be way more successful and way more happy.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. But like you're talking about happiness. What like no cameras, no Instagram, what you're alone by yourself. Like what really drives you, you know? What gets you up in the morning?
It's a great question. Let me think about that. If I had to give a real answer, I think there comes a point, right? Where, and my answer will actually change from last time we spoke about this. So it'll be different. I think there comes a point when, for example, me starting out, I feel inferior. I want to be superior. I'm in this mode. I'm working really hard. I'm sitting alone at lunch, free period, everything else. I want to be better. I want to make more. I get to 30 grand a month. Everybody else is still going to math class. They're still living a shitty fucking life, not doing anything, not accomplishing anything. Great. I already accomplished that goal. I already feel superior. So then what's next? Because I can't drive anymore, so I need a new drive. Now, I used to think it's like helping people. Like for me, I have that mission of making sales education available to the youth, right? That's a massive goal of mine. Now, I used to think this is some philanthropist thing of like, oh, I want to be this great guy. And I want to change society and everything else. But I really reflected on it. I think humans are built to serve themselves.
Of course.
In a sense.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is if you go and you make a donation to charity to help kids with cancer, for example,
it helps yourself.
Are you doing it for the kids with cancer, or are you doing it because you feel great when you make that donation?
Exactly.
Now, you're still doing something good for society. Don't get me wrong. So it's still fantastic. But are you doing it for them or are you doing it for yourself?
Yeah.
I think humans are wired that way. So I think instead of facing this like, oh, I want to be superior, I think if you really step back and you analyze it from a bird's eye view, what even is that? When to feel superior? Why? Because it gives you a dopamine hit, because you feel great.
Exactly.
When you do it. I think it's the exact same way. You go do charity, you feel great. You feel great about it. And psychologically, and this, nobody can argue with this. This is fact.
Yeah.
It's conditioned. Humans, you do something, it feels good, you keep doing it. It feels bad, you stop doing it. Put your hand on a stove, fucking hurts, don't do it again. Jerk off, feels good, you keep doing it. Don't keep doing it though, right? You got to stop yourself. But fundamentally, something feels good and you keep doing it. That's how humans are wired. So naturally, if you donate something, you donate to charity, you feel good, obviously you're going to keep doing it. You help somebody out, you coach them for free, you help them, they become really successful, feel really good, keep doing it. Same thing. So I think people can say, yeah, I want to help people. And I agree, you do want to help people. I don't think humans inherently are like, oh, I want to hurt this. Like, I don't think humans inherently are bad like that.
Course,
like, oh, I wish the worst on this person. Even Hitler thought he was doing something good. even though he wasn't. He thought he was. So if you really think about it, like, yes, you can be like, I want to help people, but it's because you feel good when you're doing it. So what drives chasing as much of that feel good as possible while building something massive? And I think even building something massive is the ultimate feeling good. So I think it all comes down to that one thing.
Yeah.
We look at just psychology.
Yeah. But don't you also think, like, I also, after our last conversation, thought about it, and don't you think it also plays a role to, like, just your approach to everything, where you want to be superior to everybody else? So, building something huge, all of that, you're slowly, steadily climbing this mountain of this, like, you're better than more and more people,
I don't think so. This was another conversation I had with myself. I don't think being superior is my drive anymore.
I see.
I think my drive is that feeling. Now, being superior, that gets me the feeling. So that could be a drive, right? But I think there's so many other ways to do it. With the impact team, for example, the free group where we give people free sales training, place them for like everything for free, undercutting everybody in the market, taking them down, like that's not worth my time monetarily whatsoever. Like, bro, most of my time every day goes towards that. And I make like fucking no money off it. So like, but it makes me feel good. It does. I get to coach people. I get to help them. I see in the wins channel, I closed 10K today. I closed 20K today. I did this. I did that. Closed my first 5 calls. Like that feels great. So I think that's still the driver. Just feeling great.
Yeah.
I think it is for everybody. And I think if you tell yourself, no, it's not, I think you're a fucking liar.
Oh, I completely agree with you. I think personally, like, we're all selfish, but it's just, we just help each other out just because it's in the same diagram.
And I think God, obviously, he's a genius because it was a really smart way to make us. Because if we're always going for our self-interest, we're always getting better, we're always pushing forward, then that's how society grows. Because you want to be the guy to make this new invention. You want to be the guy to make all this money. So you have to start this, how that company serves everybody else. If we were all just made to help other people, bro, we'd be a world of fucking pacifists. We wouldn't do shit. We'd still be sitting in tribes, fucking sitting around a campfire, eating like bison or whatever. I don't know. Like we wouldn't do anything because if we're just chasing helping other people, then we wouldn't make all these inventions and do this and do that. Like if that was the purpose.
Yeah. No, I agree with you totally. And knowing the drive, like, what are you trying to prove on, like currently?
What am I trying to prove?
Yeah.
What am I trying to prove?
Improve.
Yeah. Okay. I think leadership. I think is the biggest thing. If I had to pick something specifically, I think leadership.
I see. And going back, what are you trying to prove to the world?
Trying to prove to the world?
Yeah.
I find myself in a really interesting position where I don't feel like I have to prove anything to anyone except for myself. Because people will like, okay, somebody commented on an Instagram reel the other day, and this was hilarious to me. He was some random kid, like 16 years old or like 18 years old. He looked super young, made no money, dead broke, nothing. And he comments, he's like, if you keep under one of my reels of like a talk, if you keep thinking that way, you're never going to make it. It's like, what does make it mean? Like, number one, what does make it mean? Number two, what have you accomplished to be able to give me any sort of advice in any realm of life whatsoever? Secondly, but number one, like, what does make it even mean? Like, what could I want right now that I don't have? I don't know. Because I think if I wanted something bad enough, I think I would already have it. I believe, people think I'm crazy for this. I believe if I truly wanted it bad enough from birth, I could have a private jet right now. And I'm 17. So that's the reality.
100%.
I don't think I actually want it that bad. So then I think part of the game is like now proving to myself, because I think there's different things that I want. For example, one of my wants, I wanted to build the largest sales community in all of high ticket sales. And I did it in 60 days. So I don't think there's anything you can want that you don't truly have already. And I think proving to other people comes with that. I don't think I have to prove anything to anybody because I've already proved myself time and time and time again. Now, if you're starting from the beginning and you're like, oh, I don't have to prove anything to anyone, that's bullshit.
Exactly.
You have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Like that is reality. When people say, and this pisses me off, when people are like, oh, don't compare yourself to other people. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You have to compare yourself.
Exactly.
If you don't compare yourself, the people who go online, and this is the funniest thing, people will post online and be like, oh, I'm making $100K a month profit. Like, my biggest advice, don't compare yourself to other people. Why would you be saying you make $100K a month profit if you didn't compare yourself to other people? How would you know that that's good? What if making $100K a month was the equivalent of making $1,000 a month in society right now? Would he be posting that online? No. Which means that he thinks $100K a month is great, which means he is comparing himself to other people. So I think fundamentally, if you're going around and being like, oh, this whole happy-go-lucky guy, don't compare yourself. You're fantastic. Be positive. You're this great force in the world. Bullshit. You're not. You have to compare yourself. That's how you become great.
Exactly.
So I think comparing yourself is the strongest power. I don't have anything to prove to anybody, but I sure as hell compare myself to people. No doubt about it. And I do it on purpose. That's one way of pushing myself. I choose, I'm going to compare myself to this guy.
Yeah.
So I think I can do more. And I do it on purpose. So yeah, I don't think I have anything to prove to anybody, but I sure as hell compare myself to other people in a manner that's going to make me better. And I choose how that works out.
Yeah. And transitioning into, you were talking about the sales impact team, all of that. You have like over 3,000 students now.
It's over 4,500.
4,500. See it. It's crazy. It's scaling crazy. Do you like grasp what you're building? Like, can you comprehend what you're doing?
It's fun. That question makes me smile. I do, and it's because it's what I always wanted.
I see.
It's what I always wanted. So seeing that, it makes me so happy. That's why I'm fully willing to put in all the time in my day and everything else and all my efforts and focus on it and put everything towards it, even though it barely makes me any money, is because like I comprehend the grasp of it. Especially like, okay, yesterday I ran a group call in the VIP, this small little group, right? And one of the guys, he was like, bro, I took my first 5 sales calls ever and I closed all 5 of them. And he looked like an 18-year-old kid. Made a shit ton in commission. Another guy, first week on an offer, closes 70K. He has this was the happiest image to me. He has a little kid that's like, I think 9 years old, 10 years old, little kid, right? And he closed like 78K his first week. His name's Angela. And after doing that, he posted a video on his story. I reposted it on my story. And it was his little kid reciting the impact formula script. He took a video of him in the gas station. He was like, what was your intent behind getting into high ticket sales? And it was like this little 9-year-old kid. It was the cutest thing ever. But like, that makes me so happy. That brings joy to me. Yeah. That makes me so fulfilled. Because like, that is the goal. So I think I can comprehend the size of it. And I think it's a very beautiful thing. And I think whenever people look at themselves, if you're somebody who hasn't done anything with his life yet, number one, understand that's because you haven't wanted it bad enough.
Exactly.
If you truly wanted it, you would have achieved it already. And then number two, understand that it's a choice. How can you see another guy who's achieving this at such a young age and doing this? For example, you work hard, you're putting in the work, you're doing revenue, you're way ahead of most people your age, fucking miles. How can you see somebody else, if you take me for an example, making 150 grand a month profit as a 17-year-old kid, changing lives, making the biggest community in an entire industry at 17 years old, making an impact, making a wave in society, changing lives, and you be like, no, I'm going to sit here and play fucking Brawl Stars. Like, how can you live with yourself? I think that's the harsh reality. It's the truth. It's the truth. And I think that's why people are so attracted to an image like that. I'll give you an example. When I went to my old high school to visit my old counselor. She's great. My old counselor, she's great. And she has the same mindset, that same build and the capability of everything else, except she just chose to use it in a different way. And I don't think that's a bad thing whatsoever. I think as long as you want to be the best and you want to have an impact and you want to do great things, how you do it is not my problem. She wants to be the best damn counselor ever. She wants to change lives. She wants to comfort people who are in a bad place in their life. And she helped me a lot, right? I went to visit her. While I'm in her office, a bunch of kids that I used to sit with at lunch and stuff all go up to the office and start like fucking making a little huddle in there. Just randomly. I didn't invite them, nothing. They just showed up. And I'd sit there and I'm like, what do you want? Like, What are you here for? What do you want? Just obviously just telling them to get out, basically. And eventually they got out. And then 2 kids came after that. I do actually like them, so I spoke with them and stuff. But I think it's because people naturally are going to be attracted to somebody who's actually doing something with their life.
Sure.
So the question you have to ask yourself is, why don't you just become that person? Because I think that's what gave me the drive at the beginning as well. Like, for me, it's kind of, it's like you can see the people who make all this money and everything, and like you want to become like them, etc. That was part of my drive, but I think the biggest part of my drive is I would see people in the social hierarchy in high school, whether it was some football kid or something that was at the peak of the social hierarchy. And believe it or not, that drove me. It's what I was saying earlier.
Exactly.
He felt stupid. That guy is the equivalent of, in business terms, having somebody like me and then having somebody who has a $10 million net worth who's exited a company. It's the exact same thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
On the social hierarchy. And so I think that person to some degree has achieved something. Do I think it's meaningful? Fuck no. Waste of time. But it's the same comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how I look at it myself. Like, I think if you can see somebody who's achieved that much and be like, no, I'm just going to live with myself. I'm just going to keep doing my bullshit. I think it's fucking stupid. And then you're quitting on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And going into more of like, the 9-year-old kid, all of that, how did it feel? Like that first message you got in the Wins channel where someone said like, thank you, Andres, or like, thanks to the impact formula, thanks to the teachings, I was able to make money. How did that feel?
I'm right where I'm supposed to be. That's how I felt. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I knew this was going to happen one day. It's coming to reality. This is just the beginning. It's going to be fucking massive. And I still don't know today.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the biggest community in the high ticket sales space by a long shot that's active. Yes, that is true. Even the VIP, like the inner circle group, right? We made a $97 a month group to be more valuable than any $10, $15, $20,000 coaching program possibly find out there. And anybody can argue me or challenge me on that whatsoever. I will defend it. And it is very obvious. If you look at the statistics, the facts between the two, what they offer, it is by far more valuable.
100%.
And I say that as somebody who has sold $16,000, $30,000 sales training for other people. So it was right where I was supposed to be. And that group, even that inner circle group, even though it's only $97 a month, it does more revenue than any low ticket group in the entire high ticket sales space.
Yeah.
So seeing that 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks after, like it felt like this is where I'm supposed to be. But even today, even seeing it already being the biggest, I know how damn far it's about to go. And it's going to go fucking far. Let me tell you. It's going to go far.
Oh, it is.
People are going to look back and be like, damn, I thought that was already big. I thought that was the space.
Yeah.
This is.
Yeah. Side question. What felt better, that message when someone said like, you changed my life, all of that, or making like 150K in a month?
You see, that's an interesting question because I think I'm numb to it. I think I'm numb to it. Not I think I am numb to it. Like, people talk about when you achieve, like when I achieve this, I'm going to feel this great thing. And that is true. But people also say the first $1,000 you make feels better than when you get to 100K a month. That is completely true. Now, I don't think $150,000 a month hitting it didn't feel like, oh, this is fantastic. Like, this is phenomenal. But what it did feel like, it felt like a sense of like inner confidence. Like, nobody can say something to me that's going to faze me. Like, I know who I am. I know what I've achieved. I know not a lot of people my age have ever achieved it. Like, I already know that stuff. So it was a sense of like what I was saying earlier. You have nothing to prove to the world, but you have stuff to prove to yourself. And I think that was proving to myself, I can do this.
Yeah.
I know I can. And then doing it. So it wasn't so much of like a great feeling per se, and perfect. This is what we were speaking about earlier. Whenever you talk about like helping other people to get that good feeling, I think the reason entrepreneurs will step away from doing stuff to make a little bit more money and start doing stuff to help other people is because that's the only way they get that good feeling. Because for me, if I got to 200K a month profit, I wouldn't feel great. I wouldn't feel any great feeling. Yesterday, I made 14 grand. I didn't feel anything.
Average Friday.
So Yeah, I think to some degree you get to a point where the only way you really get that good feeling is by building something that impacts other people's lives. And that's when you decide to start doing that a lot more. So I think that's why people start helping other people a lot more. I think that's why I shifted in that direction as well, because I realized that subconsciously, not even consciously. So I think that's a massive part of it. But going back to your question, yeah, 150K a month didn't really feel good. It just gave me that internal confidence. So seeing that message of being like, dude, I like 5 sales calls, closed my first 5. That by far was a much better feeling. By far. Can't even describe it. Because the money doesn't have an impact on me anymore. It doesn't faze me.
Yeah.
The helping, that does. That gives you that good feeling. The good feeling drives everything you do. Then it's a natural consequence that doing this thing to help other people is going to drive me.
Yeah.
This brings me to another very interesting point. People talk about burnout. It's fake. It's not a thing. And people in my comment section, no, but you're 17 years old. Like, you have all this energy. I have a wife and a kids, and I have work at a hospital. Like, you don't know what it's like. How long do you want to keep bullshitting yourself? Why do you want to convince yourself that you can get burnt out? Because the reality is, if you don't believe in burnout, it's fucking impossible to get burnt out because you don't even believe in it. It's not even a concept in your mind. Now, I think feeling burnt out temporarily, feeling tired, feeling stressed, I think those things can exist. I think being that thing can't exist.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Because if you look at an entrepreneur who got to 100K a month, let's say, and now they're trying to get to 200, and they're not doing anything to help people. They're not like out there, for example, starting a community or like doing something, putting out content, whatever it is. That person is going to feel burnt out because they don't have a light at the end of the tunnel. That's what it all comes down to. Exactly. People get so angry at me for this, and it's ridiculous to me. It is stupid. If you don't have a light at the end of the tunnel, yeah, you're going to feel burnt out. You're going to feel tired. You're going to feel stressed because there's no reason for why you're doing it. But if you create that light at the end of the tunnel for yourself, and yes, you can create it. For me, I wanted to get to 100K a month. Great, I hit it. Now I need to create a new light. What's that light? Sales community, impact team, make the biggest group, help a shit ton of people, feel really good about it. Great, I have my light at the end of the tunnel. I cannot get burnt out, cannot get tired, I cannot feel stressed because it doesn't even fucking exist in the first place, and I have a light at the end of the tunnel that prevents it. So I think that's what people really have to consider. And if you do feel burnt out or feel stressed or feel tired, actually ask yourself, what is that light at the end of the tunnel? And I guarantee you, you will not have an answer. I guarantee it. You will not have an answer that you think about it, you say it out loud, and you feel a passion inside of you. You feel a fire inside of you that drives you, that makes you want to be better. You won't. So that is the cure, if you will. And that's what most people lack. So again, money, helping people. Eventually, money, you get tired of it, doesn't faze you, doesn't have an impact on you. And then helping people is the way that you get that good feeling.
Yeah. Now, like burnout and all of that, you say you're not talented, you just outwork everyone. Is that true, or is that more of like a defense mechanism? My personal take on it, just speaking to you already second time, I would say the talent is the mindset. Putting in that 100%, that there's that light at the end of the tunnel and sticking to it. Because a lot of people could put that light at the end of the tunnel, but it's so far away that they can't believe that they'll reach it. You know what I mean?
I don't think you truly want it bad enough, though. If that's the reality, you don't want it bad enough. Look, like my mindset, it's not a talent because number one, it wasn't something I was born with. Number two, I've constantly been developing it and very intentionally on purpose. So it can't be a talent because there was a point in time when I didn't have the work ethic. And so if I didn't have the work ethic at some point, I had to develop it. And the amount of pain, the amount of suffering that I've gone through in order to build it, it's obvious that it would happen. It is obvious.
Yeah.
But most people, under that amount of pain, under that amount of pressure, number one, a lot of them would crumble. Number two, most people, if they saw the amount of pain and suffering and everything else that they would have to go through, they'd be like, fuck no, take me over there.
Exactly.
So I disagree in the sense that I don't think my mindset is a talent because I had to build it. Now, going back to the point of talent, of what talents do I have, I think I am pretty strategic. I'm intelligent. I have a high IQ. I took an IQ test the other day because one of my employees asked me to take an IQ test. And it was like one of the short ones, but I aced every question, so couldn't measure how high it was. So that was funny. That was funny. So I have a high IQ. I think that's a talent, I guess you could say. I don't really know the psychology behind if you're born with that or whatnot. I think I'm a talented soccer player. I don't know if that plays in anything, but everything else, I think I've built it. I think I've built it. My ability to be good at sales. I don't enjoy sales. I don't like sales, but I'm phenomenal at it. Because as a kid, going through high school and everything else, I feel like shit. I walked to the lunch table with everybody else. I needed to be able to read. What is this person thinking? What mood is he in? What is he going to say? Am I about to get made fun of? Am I going to be chill? Can I work? Like, what can I do here? So I had to instantly be able to read people's body language, like subconsciously. And it sounds like a crazy thought. And if you're watching this and you're like, oh, but I'm in a similar position to that, I don't do that. You do. You don't even know it. You do. It is a subconscious thing that you do. And it tells you how to act. It tells you if you should speak or you shouldn't speak. It determines the amount of energy you have without you even realizing.
Yeah.
So all those things were built. And the reality is, if I could build it, anybody else can. And that is the truth. Another thing you could say I had talent for is like my risk-taking ability. But even that, is that really talent? I don't think so.
I think that was the position you were in.
Yeah, I built that. As a kid, I built that. I did things. I put myself in tough positions. I realized I don't have any other choice. I have to take those risks, and I did it. So yeah, I don't think any of it really comes from talent. I think the only things that can really come from talent would be like me being talented at soccer, per se.
Yeah.
Right? You could say stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I don't think anything what I've done has been talent.
Yeah. And going back to the risk taking, what decisions do you make like that? And what decisions do you actually like think about, you know?
The goal of every decision I make is to be able to make it like that.
I see.
That is the so the decisions I take time to think about are the ones where I do not have the level of capability to be able to make a decision like that. That's the only things. So for example, with content, when I was first, so I have multiple pillars. I have the ones where I just record my sales calls and clip up the objection handling or the intro or pre-handling, whatever else. And then I have the second pillar, which is like more mindset or more like talking head stuff like that. At the beginning, when I made those ideas, I would always run them by my content director. Like, oh, I think it's a good idea. What do you think? So it'd take me time to make that decision. Like I had to really put thought into it. Eventually, I get to a point where I have the analysis. I've done the studying. I've looked at the data behind everything. I've learned it. I've looked at tons of variations, split tested everything. To where now I can come up with an idea and be like, this is a good idea. I don't even have to ask anymore. It's a good idea. It is. Let's do it. So I think the goal of every person should be able to make decisions like this. And then you have to make decisions slowly in order to get to a position where you can do it like that. Same thing in soccer. Use soccer as an example, right? A lot of my fundamental thoughts of life and how I think and how I interact comes from that. So soccer, you do drills in practice all day. Practice, you kick a ball against the wall and you practice right before you receive it. You turn your body, you open it so you have direction, you can move in the field. You can attack, right? Or you fake, you're going to open it and you swing right back in because then the defender's going to go flying that way. Like these are all drills that you practice. When you get into the game and the ball's flying at you and you just check your shoulder to know where everybody is, you don't have time to be like, oh, I'm going to open my, like, I'm going to open, I'm going to go. You don't have time for that. It's instant. You see the ball coming, you see the defender drops his shoulder, you know he's about to commit. So you open last second and you go right around it. It's like an instinct. It's an instant decision, but it came from drills of taking time to make decisions, of repeating that same action over and over and over again until it could become instinct. Same thing in sales. You write your script 10 times a day, 5 times a day, 3 times a day, over and over and over again. Eventually, you hear something, you already know exactly what to say immediately. No thought. So I think that's the goal that everybody should aim for because that's when you become a savage. That's when you're a killer. And you have to think in order to get to a position where you can't think.
I see. So it's more just like getting to the point where it's just instinct. You don't even, like, it doesn't pass your mind.
Exactly. That is the entire goal. That is the purpose.
And now, have you ever felt like while you're building all of this, like envy? I don't know, like you felt like it's unfair what's happening to you compared to others?
1,000%. 1,000%. Do I think it's a good thing? I don't know. I think it depends how you look at it. I don't think it's about the envy itself. I think if the envy makes you do bad things or speak bad about people, then I think that's bad.
Yeah.
But if you use that envy for something good, like, I don't know, imagine this. In Christianity, I'm Catholic. They say, oh, envy is a bad thing. Don't envy what somebody else has. What if somebody donates $1 million to charity? You envy his ability to do that. So you go out, you make a lot of money, and then you donate $1.5 million to a charity or to a church to help them with helping kids in Africa that don't have enough food, for example, whatever. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. So I think having envy for the right reasons, I think is great. I think it's great. Right. So yeah, I think if you see somebody with something and you're like, I want this really bad, I don't think that's a bad thing. As long as you use it for the right reasons. You should not wish ill on that person.
Yeah.
Oh, he has this. Fuck that guy. He must have gotten lucky. Oh, he's selling a course. Like, when they're not even selling a course, but you just don't know anything better to say about yourself.
Yeah.
And so you just have to not like, no, don't do any of that shit. Just see it and be, yeah, I'm inspired. I'm going to do something great. I'm going to change lives.
Yeah.
The amount of people I see in my comment section that are like, oh, you sell a course. I'm like, number one, I don't sell a course. Number two, go do something with your life, bro. Like, go do something. Build yourself up, become a man. Yeah. Come back to me and we can fucking chat. We can go for dinner. Go do something.
Yeah.
But envy for the wrong reasons. Like when people comment like, oh, he sells a course. Oh, he's terrible. Yeah, I only ran the sales organization with my business partner for the largest B2C sales training company in the world, doing $3.5 million a month. Yeah, I must be fucking horrible. Well, what do you want me to say? Like it's a waste of words. Go do something.
Yeah.
That's the truth about envy.
I think that's the problem with like the society at this current stage where, you know, instead of looking at what someone else has and like saying, wow, he did it, that means I know I can do it, and using that as motivation, they use it and just try to push it completely out, you know, just say,
try to bring you down.
Yeah. Yeah. When actually you should be using that to like motivate you, you know, like push you to the new levels because someone else did it. There's no difference than you could do it.
And the truth is, again, if you have that person, you see the guy who's making 150K a month profit, changing all these lives, everything, complete freedom, can travel anywhere around the globe, whenever he wants to, wherever he wants to, with whoever he wants to. And he's 17. And then you see the other guy, yourself, right? If you're some regular kid in high school in America or whatever, you're like, oh, but I went to practice after school. Like I played Brawl Stars today. And then you see the two, and that kid can't even fathom what this guy has done. It's like, well, fucking, like that can't be real. Like he can't fathom it. And obviously he's going to feel like shit about it. And I can't blame the guy. I felt like shit about it when I saw other people that were way far ahead of me, that were my age, back when I wasn't doing anything either. I felt like shit. So I can't blame the guy for feeling bad. But then there's two ways that he can stop feeling bad. Either he becomes successful himself and he builds something for himself and he becomes a man, or he tries and tear the other guy down so he can feel better about himself. It's the saying, the way to have the tallest building in the city is you can tear everybody else's building down, or you can build yours higher. Now, building it higher, that takes a lot of damn work. Yeah. That takes a lot of work. It's much easier to leave a comment and be like, oh, he sells a course. Oh my God, this is so bad. This is terrible. It's way easier to do that. So that's the route they take. So I think if you're doing that, and if you're one of these people watching this that leave comments like that or shit like that, number one, fucking retarded. Don't do that. Stupid. Number two, actually consider, again, it's about going through the hard things to build yourself up as a man and do more. So go through the hard things yourself. I challenge you. If you're watching this video, I challenge you. Beat me. I want to see you try and beat me. Beat me. Make more money than me. Help more people than me. Be more successful than me. Do it all. I want to see you do it. That's my challenge.
Yeah.
Try it. Go for it.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, that's helps most people, you know, the competition, you know, that motivates everybody back. You always need someone to like push against.
Men are made to be competitive.
Exactly.
That's what people don't understand. Men are made to be competitive. That is why back in the day, even like there was a leader to the tribe. There was generals in a tribe. All these people, how did they get that position? They were better than everybody else. That is the truth. They were seen as better. All the people who didn't have anything, who were poor, who didn't have anything, didn't have friends, whatever it might be, didn't have a wife, they always wanted to be like that guy. They wanted to be better than him. And that is why some of them became it. It's the exact same thing in current civilization.
Yeah.
I wanted to become better, so I did it. Competitiveness is the point of being man. But in a society when men become so feminine or don't do anything with their life or don't want to fucking work, don't want to compete, then obviously stuff's not going to happen. Obviously it's going to lead to a ruin of society.
Yeah.
Because you no longer have anything to compete for. Now, if you don't want to compete, fucking, okay, do your thing, bro. I'll keep beating you. I need people like you. But if somebody wants to compete, I encourage them. I want to see them chasing me.
Yeah.
I get a couple DMs, a couple of quarter, where it's like, bro, I just want you to know you've inspired me. I am going to be above you. I'm going to beat you. And I can't wait to see you at the top.
Wow.
Makes me happy. I love that.
Yeah.
Go for it. I want it. Go for it.
Yeah.
I think that's what men should crave rather than trying to just be some fucking pussy on the internet, commenting on other people's posts, not doing anything with your life.
Yeah. I think it ties back into like, I've seen this quote where it's like, when you want to lose weight, everybody's going to laugh at you except the bodybuilder. When you want to build a business, everybody's going to laugh at you than the one who built the business.
Exactly.
I think that's what it is. And I think it's just hard for people to understand that, you know.
Exactly. That is exactly how it is. That is a perfect way to put it.
Yeah. And like you manage so many people, you know, you've built so much. I could say you're a leader of a tribe, you know, in a sense. Would you say it's easy to work with you, or you're hard on people? Like you're like the Steve Jobs type of guy where it needs to be done this way?
I think I'm a bit of a chameleon. I know when to be hard on people, but you can't be hard with everybody.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I think about it. And what I mean by you can't be hard with people, that does not mean lower your standards with them. They still need to have very high standards, and I only demand the best from everybody I work with. That does not mean you have to be a typical hard ass on them. You can demand the highest standard and still empower people. Some people don't need that though. Some people need the like, get back to fucking work, keep doing it, keep getting after it. Like you need that. Like I needed that, for example. When I went, I was already working hard. When I went from working 12 hours a day to working 17 or 18 hours a day, I needed that. I needed that, like, get the fuck back in there. Like go, get after. And then after a while, obviously, then I got kind of developed my own coping mechanisms and I was able to kind of do it on my own. But I needed it. That was a reality. I needed it. And so different people kind of have different things that they need. However, the standards still need to be at the top. Peak. So I demand the excellence. I demand the very, very best from everybody I work with. But the way I get it is different.
I see. And you kind of build this empire. And like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, is it on a podcast in Forbes, running something behind the scenes? I don't know, like living next to Iman Ghazi, Romania.
That's a great question. I see myself 5 years. Wait, let me do some math. Married. That's 22. I'm getting married.
Really? Married.
Calling it. 21. I'm getting married. So 22. I imagine myself married. I'm getting myself I want to hit 8 figures by the time I'm like before I'm 21. So I want to be doing probably 2.5 million a month by the time I'm 22. And that's going to be at extremely high margin just because of the business model.
Of course.
Right? Because it's rev share basis. So that would be like over $1 million.
Focused on the skills.
Because I focus on the damn skills. There you go. So that I want to have nonprofits. So I want to have like not a charity, a nonprofit, like a company that's self-sustaining, that produces profit, and the profit all goes to charity. And then I want to build that vertically. But I mean by vertically, there's horizontal expansion and vertical expansion in business. Vertical expansion is like I run a food business, for example. So whenever I produce agriculture, right? Whenever I produce crops, then some trucking company has to take those crops and deliver it somewhere else, right? And they deliver it to a restaurant, for example. And the restaurant makes food, etc. And then everybody has low margins because the crop company has to pay the trucking company premium rates because they also need to make a profit to get it delivered. The trucking company has to make some kind of deal with the restaurant or whatever else to get it delivered. Everything else, the restaurant has very low margins because they get eaten on profit from the trucking company and from the crop company, the agriculture company. So I want to grow vertically, meaning I want to own the crop company, the trucking company, and the restaurant. Because if I have all three, profit margins on all three of them are going to be massive, ridiculous. Because I can do them all at a break even rather than a profit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Then that's how I'm able to produce more profit, which then again goes to charity.
Yeah.
So those are like the main kind of goals I have set for myself at this point in time.
No kids?
Nah, that's too early.
That's your. But the wife
Give me
is.
some time. Give me some time. Yeah.
And just out of curiosity, what do you look for in a partner like that?
I've thought about this. This is a great question. I think I need somebody who has. I don't want somebody who wants to compete with me. You know what I mean? Like I don't want like, bro. Personally, I find the whole boss bit, like I find that shit repellent. Never. I don't want some woman that's going to try and compete with me. Right? I want somebody who can support me, who's going to be there for me. Right? I want somebody who has their own passion, so something they want to develop. Right? If she wants to, I don't know, get into the medical field, for example, which is still an ambitious field, but if she wants to get into the medical field out of passion, for example, I can help her fund a clinic. Right? If she wants to go help kids in Africa, I'll help her fund that. Like, I don't know. I want a woman that has some kind of passion, obviously beautiful. That's a prerequisite. Like that kind of the duh. But yeah, I want somebody who has a passion, who's extremely loyal, right? Who's supportive, who's not, I mean, women are emotional. That's just the truth, but not overly emotional.
Yeah. Again,
that goes back to the competing thing. I don't want her to be competing for my attention, competing for my time. I know very successful men who, when they're around their girlfriend, I don't want to fucking be around them. I don't want to talk to them. Because she'll interrupt in the middle of conversations, be like, but babe, what about this? It's like, dude, what are we doing? We're talking about a business right now. This is a big decision. This could make him $100,000 or lose him $100,000. And like, you're just kind of interrupting for no reason. So like, I want a woman who's proper, who knows her place, right? Who's loyal. And that does not mean that she's less than me.
Yeah.
Opposite.
100%.
Jack even. And somebody who can raise children to be great and provide for the family and the aspects that need to be taken care of.
Yeah.
You need to clean, you need to cook, you need to take care of the children, you need to raise them to be great kids because I'm going to instill beliefs in them and I need you to be able to do the same. And somebody who's proper. And that's what I look for.
No Snapchat score of 2 million.
No, fuck no. No. That shit's scary. I see that shit. Run the other way. No, hell no.
And like, you went into content, and you're building this empire, and in 5 years you want to be 8 figures, all that. Are you looking to be more like just effective rather than famous?
It depends what you consider effective. For me, effective, again, if effective isn't the money necessarily, then effective is helping the people and having an impact and contributing because that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And I think I have to have a following. I have to have an impact in order to be able to do that. That's why when I said leadership earlier, that's why I'm so keen on leadership and communication, because that is the key to gaining influence. And if you can gain influence, you can change lives. You can do massive things.
Yeah.
So I think that's a massive part for me. I think gaining the influence and the followers and the views and everything else, I think that's a massive part of me. I think the way I'm going to do it is going to be very different. I don't think it's going to be like clip farming videos of me in a Ferrari or anything. Like, I don't think that's it. I'm going to do something that actually contributes something. That may be part of the strategy, but that's definitely not going to be all of it. But yeah, I think that's how you gain massive influence, is by working on communication and leadership. So absolutely, that's a massive part of it.
Yeah. And I mean, going back to the foundation of everything, it's all sales, and the community is designed for young individuals, or not even young individuals, doesn't matter, everybody to master sales. Because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you believe that sales is the #1 skill that can get you to first 10K.
1,000%. It's for everybody. My inspiration for doing it was the youth. But it is for everybody, and it applies to everybody, and we made it on purpose to apply for everybody. But my inspiration was the youth person.
Yeah. And just on sales, I think this is like a big part that people don't understand. What do you think the difference is between convincing someone and helping them buy?
I think convincing is something you do to somebody. I think helping them buy is something you do for somebody. I think that's the difference. One is one versus other, A versus B. The other one is A plus B equals C, which is them buying.
I see. So which one do you focus on?
Absolutely not convincing. It's opposite. You're working with them. That's what sales is. And a lot of the hardest part about sales, I would say, after you get the process down, the formula down, the impact formula, and you're able to do it repeatedly every single call, after you do that, I think the hardest part about it is getting them to understand that you're on their same side.
Exactly.
Because you can get them to agree, yeah, my way of thinking, my perspective is the reason I'm broke and I don't have anything in life and I need to change it in order to become successful. You can get them to agree that all that stuff, you can get them to agree, yeah, this program will absolutely change my life and everything else. But then why do they still give you a smoke screen? And you think about it, why do they still do that? Because they think it's you versus them.
Yeah.
So I think after you have the framework, the formula down, I think the next step is how do you get people to feel like it's you and them versus the world? Because then at the end of my calls, bro, people will be like, Andres, like, what do you think I should do? I'm like, yeah, you should buy. And then buy. But the fact that they're asking me that shows the level of trust they have in me.
Yeah.
And you need to understand how to make that happen. But once you do, the level of influence and impact you can have on somebody's life is drastic, otherworldly.
Yeah. And then transitioning into, what do you think the biggest mistake the young closers make? Is it not like
focusing on commission too fast? That's the biggest issue, I think. I'll rephrase. Focusing on close rate. That is the biggest issue. And this used to be me. People will focus on, I want a 70% close rate. I want an 80% close rate. I used to have a 92% close rate. It's like unheard of. My calls were 2.5 hours. For a 92% close rate, 2.5 hours. And I started realizing like efficiency. And if I focus on cash, that's way more important. Because if I focus on cash, if somebody I already know, they don't have any money, they're being super tough, it's going to be a pain in the ass, I'm not going to try reframing them 30 times. Great. Good luck to you, bro. Enjoy. Then I'm after a 30-minute call. After that, hit the outbound dialer, set myself up another 3 appointments with people who are actually qualified, who want to put in the work, who want to be great, who want to be better. And I close them. I'm going to make a lot more out of it. So I think that's a massive part of it. It's not focusing on close rate, but focusing on cash collection. Yosh, my business partner at the previous company we were in, he was making $120K a month in straight commissions at 12%. That is unheard of. Nobody in the industry has done that. Ever. And there's people in that company who had a higher close rate than him. He had a 50% close rate. I think average 10K cash collection upfront per deal, right? And there's people in the company who had a 70% close rate, collecting 2K on average per call. Calls are 2 hours. His are 30 minutes. Obviously, he's going to destroy it. He 5x'd everybody else's commissions. So I think that's a major part of it. It's focusing on the cash and commissions rather than focusing on close rate. And I think that's honestly, it's an overarching issue with society. People, it's focusing on the very short term versus focusing on the long term.
Yeah.
And if you focus on the long term, the long way is the shortcut. I took the long route. I learned a skill where I was not making as much money with that skill. That's the long route. But a year later, I'm making $150K a month profit. They've never even touched that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do the math.
Yeah. Yeah. And just so like people can understand you more, like first thing that comes to mind, like what was the last book you read?
The last book? That's tough. I don't really read. What was the last book that I read? Not really a book, but I read studies on psychology.
Sure.
So like studies that have actually been done.
Yeah.
Psychology about ADHD, different things.
Yeah.
I think knowing about yourself is extremely important. I think that's a superpower. It's like me, I know I have ADHD. My entire family has it, medically diagnosed, everything. Now, people would be like, oh, why do you tell yourself you have ADHD? Like you believing it, that's the first issue. That's a scam, it's a lie, whatever. No, for me, I think ADHD is my biggest fucking advantage. So you learn how to use it. ADHD is the reason I can sit down on one thing that I'm passionate about and I can focus on it for 16 hours in a row, forget about eating, forget about drinking water, anything. It's the reason why. So like reading studies, I think was probably the last thing I read.
I see. And then
Specifically one about ADHD from a
specific
professor.
ADHD.
It was a professor who wrote it working in conjointment with UNC, University of
Oh,
North
wow.
Carolina. Yeah.
Wow, nice. And what was the hardest no you ever had?
I don't really think about these things because it's like, what do I care? I got one no and 10 yeses. Like, who gives a
But like, you know, more of like one where it's just like it stood out between all the other ones. Yeah, you get no, let me think about it. Like you get all the no, but like one that like stood out to you.
Well, if I had to say a no that actually had like a big impact on my life, it was, and I can't say the name of the company for legal purposes. The last company that I tried going to, when I first spoke to my current business partner, it's crazy how the world works. My current business partner, Josh, he sold me an event ticket to go to an event from that previous company. At that company, at that event is when we first became friends and like actually got to know each other at a deeper level. And I asked him if I could go work for the company. And he said no. And after he said no, because I was a minor and there's like FTC regulations and all this other stuff, and he said no. And after he said no, I started to think about my strategy. So what I started to do is it was like, okay, I need to do something more. Clearly, I'm not doing enough because if I was valuable enough, he would not have said no. I know that because people will take risks and it's worth the risk.
Exactly.
So I started thinking, who could I go work for? Who do I want to work for? Who do I want to work with? And I made a list of 3 different companies. I found every email available from people who worked at those companies, sales reps, operations team, support, info at XYZ at gmail.com, like all of them, everything. The emails of the founders, CEO, like everything. And I made an intro email, which was an introduction to myself, basically selling myself. And I recorded a Loom video introducing myself and explaining why I thought I should be hired. And I sent it to everybody within those companies. Got accepted into all 3.
Wow.
No, all 3. Because when you show a certain level of commitment, bro, people will not turn you down. Got accepted into all 3. And that showed me another level of commitment of like the mentality of just like, figure it out. Life. Shit happens, figure it out.
Yeah.
And then eventually I ended up working with Yash in that company, became the top guy. He was the top guy. I ended up collecting more than the rest of my team combined, ended up managing, like training, recruiting the sales team alongside him. And now we're here.
Sure.
So that was probably the most impactful no that I can remember right now.
Yeah. And then what's the strongest emotion that you felt in the last 30 days? Other than the food poisoning?
Strongest emotion?
Emotion, yeah.
I mean, I'll think about an answer, but honestly, in a sense, it's kind of irrelevant. Because like I can feel these emotions, and I do. I'm actually a very emotional person. I can feel these emotions, but it doesn't change what I do. Like I can feel sad. I can feel like shit. I can feel lonely. I can feel whatever else emotion, but it's not going to impact what I do.
100%.
So if it doesn't impact what I do, then what would be the point of even focusing on it? What would be the point of like even putting thought into it? Like going back to burnout, for example, there's what's it called? If feeling something doesn't impact what we do, there's people who will be like, oh no, like they'll have the same mindset of like, burnout doesn't exist, blah, blah. Oh, but I do feel burnt out right now. But what does it matter? Who cares? If it's not going to make any impact on what I do, what's the point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I would say. Like if I had to think, the biggest emotion I felt was probably lonely.
Really?
That's probably the biggest. And it was because like I have a very tight circle.
Yeah.
So I don't adjust very, very quickly. Like I have a very, very tight circle, right? And one of my buddies, he went to Arizona right now. So like he's not here. Like, nobody's really here. My other friend, he got a girl. So like now he's doing his own thing. Right? So it was lonely. I think it was the biggest emotion I felt, but it just didn't really change it. Like who cares?
Yeah. You still picked up the phone, still dial.
Makes no difference. Still do the same thing. And now that's gone because I think those things that you do, that you tell yourself, I'm going to do, the whole point of doing them is you engineer them in a way where it will fix any negative emotion you have. If you feel like a fucking loser because you're not doing anything with your life, those things that you do should be engineered towards making you successful, because then you will not feel that anymore. I know the things that I do will make me fulfilled, will make me extremely successful, will make me extremely leveraged with my time, will make me very competitive, will allow me to create a tight circle of people that I love around me that I would take a bullet for, and they would do the same. So then I just keep doing those things. Doesn't matter what I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. And final question, what would be the one thing you would change about yourself if you could?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. I would not change anything about myself. I think everything about me has allowed me to become successful as I am.
Yeah.
It allowed me to live the life that I have and impact the lives that I have impacted. And I think if I change anything about myself, fundamentally, it'd be changing the outcomes that
You wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be me. Not only that I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be me. The shit I've gone through, the things I've felt, the actions I've taken, who I am as a person, that's what makes me me. So if I change that, it's not me anymore.
Yeah.
There's a period where, like, me being extremely emotional, I watched a lot of David Goggins. This was when I went from 12 hours a day to 18 hours a day, 17 hours a day. I would watch him on repeat. So like whenever I got in the cold plunge in the morning, right, I was just listening to that. That's bro, in the cold plunge in those mornings, that is the deepest, darkest feeling that I felt, and it feels so good.
Yeah.
It's indescribable.
Yeah.
You feel there. I visualize like another version of me, just like, yeah, just keep fucking going. Like, that's pain. This is pain. And it just, in the weirdest way, it just felt so good. And I realized, like, when listening to him, I'm very emotional, and I was like, oh, I need to change this. Like, I need to become less emotional. I need to stop feeling these emotions. I need to become this stoic guy. And what I realized is having those feelings is what makes me me. So why would I want to get rid of them?
Yeah.
If I didn't have those feelings, would I have half the fucking drive that I have today?
Nope.
No. So to answer your question, I wouldn't change anything about myself. I think I'm fucking amazing and perfect the way I am. Like, I don't know what to say. I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect.
Yeah. I mean, Andreas, it was a pleasure talking to you as always. I think you instilled a lot of into the future generation, you know? And I mean, where can people check you out?
Yeah, just go to my Instagram. You can just type in my name, Andres Contreras, it'll pop up. And then if you want to check out the Impact Team, that's where I'm trying to make sales education available for the youth. You can click the link is in my bio right there. And again, it's completely free. There's no charge. Even the VIP group, it's $97 a month. We made it with the intent of making it better than any coaching program out there for $5, $10, $20,000. And even that, if you just get 25 invites into the free group, you get free access to it. Because I'm not here to restrict anything. I'm here to make sure that that group is a group of people who are actually committed and not just a bunch of brain rot scrollers on TikTok. So yeah, that's, you can check me out on Instagram, go to the link in bio, and hopefully I can change your life as I have my own.
Perfect. Thanks, man.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah, no worries.